Right now at 6, the Girard Public Library closes the chapter on its summer reading program.
And we've got scattered thunderstorm chances as we head through the morning, and we're continuing to see those out there and could see a few additional storms by this afternoon. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll see how one local bookstore is helping people stay cool during the high temperatures. Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. We've had some strong thunderstorms rolling through the area. Nothing severe this morning, but flash flooding a significant concern. We've got some flash flood warnings, Cherokee, Jasper, northern Newton County out there. So a lot going on this morning, and we could see some additional storms this afternoon. Now, we're looking at some of the latest updates. So let's dive right in with what we got. Starting with a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Now, the bulk of the thunderstorm activity, the heavier thunderstorm activity, has now rolled north of Joplin. But take a look, it is still quite breezy back behind all of this. And look at those clouds just kind of racing by as well. Had some heavy rain, very gusty winds pushing about 50 miles an hour. So below severe limits, but nonetheless, still quite breezy. Our camera 7th and range line. Again, you can see the rain is easing up. Still rain out there, but not nearly as what we'd seen. But the winds are still gusting up out there, upwards of about 40 to 45 miles this morning as we get behind the main complex of thunderstorms today. So here's a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we've got this line, all of that here really developed recently, and then this line that it's now kind of running into, this developed within the last half hour across the region. So we'll get a little closer. We've still got thunderstorms southwest of Howard, west of Sedan. Independence, you've got more on the way. Parsons, you're in kind of just some rainfall. Columbus, a little heavier rainfall. Pittsburgh, Lamar, Greenfield, Carthage getting in on some heavier rain right now. The good news is the lightning count has come down. We were upwards of about 100 strikes just between a 3-county area as these storms rolled through, and they're continuing to lift to the north, and these heavy rains are also greatly reducing visibilities. So do keep that in mind as well. If you're traveling on 69, 49, any of the highways through here, be prepared for some reduced visibility. So we've got the main system, which is pushing this activity gradually to the east, but the storms themselves, as they continue to develop, have been lifting slightly north-northeast, and then we could see some redevelopment. I mean, we're already seeing new development taking place right now, and we could see some redevelopment by this afternoon. So, looking at the future track, it caught on to some of this before some of the other computer data did. We could see some additional scattered showers and storms. We're looking like mainly right along I-44 and the Kansas-Oklahoma border and points south. So some additional heavy rain will be possible, and then those should be done by about 7 o'clock. As we head into the evening, we'll have those gradually clearing skies out there. Temperatures this morning looking pretty good compared to where we have been. Most of us low to mid 70s. We're a little warmer. Chanute, Veneta, we're into the upper 70s out there, but still considerably better than where we have been the last few days. So we've gone ahead and added those additional chances for at least some of us for some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon into the early evening hours. And we're going to keep our highs, though, below average in the low to mid 80s. We'll continue to monitor the storms this morning. Keep an eye on forecast trends for storms this afternoon. And have a full look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll see you soon. Well, abortion advocates in Arkansas are suing the state for rejecting petitions for a ballot measure to scale back on the state's ban on the procedure. Arkansans for Limited, Government is asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a decision by Secretary of State John Thurston not to count signatures submitted by their petitions. Thurston's office says the group didn't submit required documents related to the paid signature gathers it used, but the group says it did. The petitions aim to add a constitutional amendment question to the ballot to prohibit laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy and adding exceptions for later terms. Southeast Kansas law officers are investigating a shooting incident that put 2 victims in the hospital. It happened in Independence on the 400 block of West Locust Street Monday night. 2 victims had arrived at different nearby hospitals in private vehicles. Law officers say both victims were involved in the same incident and that the situation was aimed at specific individuals. The investigators are not yet giving further details of what happened or the conditions of the victims. They're asking for people in that area to check their security cameras for evidence. Southwest Missouri authorities are investigating the drowning of a child. A 4-year-old girl was found unconscious in a home swimming pool in Marionville, Missouri, Monday night. First responders tried to revive her at this scene, but the girl was later pronounced dead at the hospital in Aurora. The police department says there is no indication of wrongdoing and the death appears to be a tragic accident. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Girard Public Library closes the chapter on another edition of its Summer Reading Awards. The 6-week event began in June, and yesterday the library celebrated the top readers and participants in 3 programs: adult, young child, and children.
Read Alice in Wonderland. I also read The Wizard of Oz.
One of the favorites I know of the children is called The Book with No Pictures. So that gets me saying silly things and singing funny songs that gets the kids to laugh.
The celebration concluded with an appearance from the Girard Fire Department as well as snow cones. The Always Buying Books bookstore in Joplin is helping people stay cool during the high temperatures. They're giving out water and cooling towels for people to take and distribute to others. They have 90 towels to distribute and say they want to help people avoid the danger that can come from being in the hot sun with no shelter.
It's so hot, being dehydrated, being too hot, if they don't have, some place they can go to get out of the heat. So this, just a little way of helping them.
You can also find a list of area cooling centers on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The U.S. soldier that crossed the border from the south into North Korea enters a plea deal negotiations with military prosecutors. Plus, J.D. Vance is set to take the stage at the Republican National Convention. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Homes in the U.S. are worth a collective $33 trillion. That's more than double their value from 2017. USA Today reports the nation's home equity, which is how much all the homes are worth minus the mortgage debt, is at a record high. However, most homeowners aren't necessarily able to liquefy the equity in their home, especially if they aren't selling their house. According to experts, to access that equity, homeowners should avoid a cash-out refinance where rates might not be in their favor. Instead, they might want to consider a home equity loan. It serves more like a credit card to draw money as needed, but experts warn against borrowing too much. The Federal Appeals Court has found Minnesota's ban on 18 to 20-year-olds getting a permit to publicly carry a handgun is unconstitutional. Yesterday, the Republican-appointed 3-judge panel ruled the 2003 state law violates both the Second Amendment and the 14th Amendment. The 8th Circuit Court of Appeals decision concurred with a lower federal court ruling that the Minnesota law was unconstitutional. It's now a legal precedent covering 6 other states near Minnesota and could be used to challenge similar age restrictions in those places. The other states are North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and Arkansas. Well, it's been nearly a year since a U.S. soldier crossed the border from south into North Korea. Lawyers representing Private Travis King said Tuesday they are in a plea negotiations with military prosecutors. King was set to face a preliminary hearing in Texas on Tuesday, but the hearing was delayed. The 24-year-old is facing 8 charges, including desertion, possession of a child, pornography, and assault, before crossing over the DMZ into North Korea last year. King has been released from a South Korean detention center on assault charges. He was supposed to fly back to Texas, but crossed into North Korea instead. He was held for several weeks and then returned to the U.S. custody last September. Tonight, former President Trump's running mate J.D. Vance is set to take the stage at the Republican National Convention. Last night, several of Trump's primary challengers and fiercest former GOP critics came together in a united front of support for his candidacy. Sabina Franza has more from the convention in Milwaukee.
Former President Donald Trump was back for day 2 of the Republican National Convention as several of his biggest 2024 primary rivals took the stage in a show of party unity.
Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period.
Trump's former UN ambassador Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis flipped from fierce campaign foes to committed Trump allies last night.
Donald Trump has been demonized. He's been sued. He's been prosecuted. And he nearly lost his life. We cannot let him down, and we cannot let America down.
Safety was the other theme on day 2, as speakers pushed for tougher anti-crime and immigration laws.
The country is less safe. But here's the good news. We can fix it.
Tonight, all eyes will be on the vice presidential nominee, J.D. Vance, as he addresses the convention crowd. The 39-year-old junior Ohio senator was seen doing a walkthrough in preparation of tonight's speech on the convention stage yesterday. A new CBS poll shows there's enthusiasm among Trump's MAGA base for his VP pick, though a majority of other registered Republicans say they're unsure.
I don't really know who he is, but Trump is a smart man, so I believe that he made the right choice.
Trump and Vance are scheduled to hold their first joint campaign rally together in Michigan this weekend. Sabrina Franza, CBS News, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Saturday's Trump-Vance campaign rally will be the first one the former president will hold since a gunman opened fire at his Pennsylvania rally days ago, killing one man and injuring Trump and 2 others. The shooter was also killed by law enforcement. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got scattered thunderstorms across the area this morning. Some of these have been strong with some gusty winds and frequent lightning, as well as very heavy rainfall. We'll have another look at your forecast and how long these storms last when we come back.
Most 95-year-olds are enjoying retirement, but not a Minnesota man. He's still doing what he does best, selling cars. Alex Birch introduces us to Don Getz.
Well, I've been about 70 years. I must have started when I was 10. I don't know. And I've been here at Nearson since 88. That's longer than I thought I should be here.
Don's career has taken many turns over the years. He owned his own dealership in Barnesville for 14 years. But even as he got older, he never wanted to quit.
I can't sit home and watch TV every day. I can't do that.
Nearson General Manager Rob Richards says that having Don around is a blast.
We're very blessed to have him here. We love seeing him come to work. He's here every day, and even on Saturdays, and it's his life. And I think him working still today is why he is 95 years old.
Over the years, Don has seen many changes in how the business operates, and changes in the cars themselves.
It's just fun getting used to it, and a lot of technology in these new units now. Unbelievable. And a lot of people don't understand it all, and I do not understand it all. I have a couple of young guys that helped me with some of these deals when I needed.
But Don said he's stayed in it for the people and the connections he makes. He even recalled selling a car to my grandparents several years ago.
I enjoy people. And like I say, I've got a good following of people from Barnesville, Wolverton, Comstock, and all over. And it's just, I just like it. It's kind of fun.
And he doesn't have plans of stopping anytime soon.
I'll keep going as long as I can. Like I say, I've been here 36 years. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have been here that long. And the people I work with, the managers and everything, and we have a good time. We have fun.
Well, Getz says he makes his own schedule. Most days he can still be found on the lot looking to make a deal. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've had thunderstorms rolling through the area this morning and more possible this afternoon. We'll take a look at all of that in the full forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 6:21 now on this Wednesday morning. It's been a busy start to the day. I'm sure a lot of you woke up to some of these strong thunderstorms rolling through. We haven't had any severe weather, but sub-severe storms. We're talking winds gusting 50 miles an hour or so out there. Still a bit breezy in Joplin. It's let up considerably, but during the peak of these storms, visibility was about zero. That's our camera on the Cornell complex. This is our camera at 7th and Range Line, where earlier this morning, there was, during the peak of these storms, there was a power flash, and our camera is across the street, of course, from the shopping center, so it stayed on, but the power to that shopping center and to the traffic lights went out for about 60 seconds or so. So it got pretty windy this morning. There's been a lot of lightning with these storms. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line also considerably calmer so far, and still raining, but again calmer down in Neosho as well. We still have some stronger storms out there now, stretching back through Barton County and off to the east across the area, and still getting some heavy rain around the Pittsburgh area. So we're going to start here in southeast Kansas. We've got these storms south of Howard near Sedan, so you're getting ready to get in on another round of heavy rain. Independence, Coffeyville, moderate rain out there. Some heavier rain south of Erie on 59, and that stretches back to the east, which is where we're going to head now, where, again, the lightning has let up. We're still looking at a considerable amount of it, but at the peak of these storms, over 100 lightning strikes as they started to roll through. Now, they're lifting. They'd been lifting off to the northeast. We had new development take place ahead of the main line that initially rolled through Joplin, Galena, Columbus, Mount Vernon, and that kind of merged together, and I'm going to show you an interesting feature. We've also got very heavy rainfall across a good portion of northeastern Oklahoma with additional thunderstorms there. Miami, you're getting in on it, and this is all continuing to lift off to the east now. So the main system that's generating all of this is generally moving eastward. The storms that developed, though, started to take a northerly track, but if you watch in the last few frames, once it ran into this new development, some of that is starting to turn back to the southeast. So we'll see what those storms do if they turn around and head back to the southeast as part of this whole complex out here. Then we could see additional thunderstorms later this afternoon, mainly along the Kansas-Oklahoma border and along and south of I-44. We could see some additional shower and thunderstorm development out there as well. So we'll keep an eye on all that. Again, no severe weather is going on this morning. We're not anticipating any severe weather, but we have had some stronger storms. Otherwise, we'll begin to clear out as we head into the overnight, and our Thursday and Friday are looking fantastic. And I do want to remind folks real quick before I forget, we do have a flash flood warning still in place for Cherokee, Jasper, and northern Newton County out there because we got a tremendous amount of rainfall. So remember, turn around, don't drown. Winds now gusting up to about 28 miles an hour in Joplin. At the peak of this, again, they were pushing about 50. 71 in Joplin, still getting some light rain. We've seen some flashes of lightning out there with some additional thunderstorm activity rolling in. Temperatures, 77 in Chanute is one of the warm spots. The rest of us low to mid 70s out there with this rainfall. Chanute, you haven't seen much yet, but you'll very likely see some shower and thunderstorm activity this morning. So we'll have showers and thunderstorms through the morning. We'll see a brief pause, be about 77 by 11 o'clock. And then roughly between, let's say, 3 and 7, we could see those additional thunderstorms out there. Low to mid 80s for our highs, sunny skies, below normal temperatures heading into the weekend. Then we'll see more thunderstorm chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then we'll start to warm up close to average. Remember, we're in July. Average is hot, but still not bad. About 90 degrees by next Friday. So we're finally getting a break from that oppressive heat. That is a check of your forecast. Now here's Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, people who bike or walk to work are physically and mentally healthier. A study published in BMJ Public Health found not only are active commuters around 10% less likely to be admitted to the hospital, they're also much less likely to be prescribed drugs for mental health issues. The study did note that cyclists are twice as likely to be injured in traffic collisions. If you're having trouble sleeping, experts say a light workout before bed could help. Researchers in New Zealand had participants do just 3 minutes of activity every half hour before sleeping. People reported being able to sleep for 30 minutes longer than participants who didn't exercise, and experts say even short bursts of exercise reduces the amount of sugar and fat in the bloodstream. Hormone therapy for breast cancer patients could also lower the risk of developing Alzheimer's or dementia. A study by the University of Pittsburgh found hormone modulating therapy, which slows tumor growth in some patients, led to a 7% lower chance of Alzheimer's later in life. Researchers say the treatment is more effective for younger cancer patients. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, folks in Joplin came out to Wildcat Glades Park to search for tiny wildlife.
We've had some strong thunderstorms rolling through the area this morning, producing heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and frequent lightning. We'll have a look at those storms and the forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, fair season in the 4 states makes its latest stop in Fort Scott, Kansas. We'll take you there. Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6:29. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So we've had a bit of a loud morning across the area today. So a lot of folks probably waking up to that. My wife actually messaged me that she woke up to those storms early this morning as they rolled through. And so, yeah, it's been a loud morning. Nothing severe, which is good.
Just a lot of action going on.
Yeah, gusty winds, sub-severe storms, lots of heavy rainfall. We have flash flood warnings again, Cherokee, Jasper, northern Newton County. So remember, turn around, don't drown, because we got a lot of rainfall from these storms this morning, and they're not quite done yet. Let's start first with a look outside from our camera at 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. We've been seeing some flashes of lightning here and there. We've still got some light thunderstorm activity out there in the Joplin area. More is on the way. The heavier thunderstorms, though, have lifted off to the north for the time being. This is the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, and again, during the peaks of these storms, you should have seen these traffic lights bobbing up and down. Again, we had winds, Joplin getting about 50, 51 mile an hour wind gusts as these things rolled through. So here's that main complex continuing to lift off to the north-northeast. We've got just heavy rain, just good thunderstorms, the general thunderstorms, back off into northeastern Oklahoma. So we had a new development take place ahead of the initial line that rolled through Joplin, Columbus, Carthage, Mount Vernon, Neosho, Monette this morning. It merged with a line that developed ahead of it into Barton and Crawford counties. And now we're watching that line because the whole system itself is moving off to the east, but that line was moving to the north. Now it's starting to turn almost southeasterly once they merged up there. And we are seeing some new development try to take place out there and off to the west, which is why we may not be quite done with these showers and storms just yet. Could see a few more along the Kansas-Oklahoma line and along and south of I-44 later this afternoon. We're going to stay roughly between 3 and 7. With the shower and thunderstorm chances for some of us. The rest of us, we're going to have gradually clearing skies, and things will continue to improve as we go overnight tonight. Temperatures this morning, fairly reasonable. Chanute is the warm spot at 77. Take that back. Stockton's now taking that at 78. Most of us, though, low to mid 70s as we get the day underway. So again, aside from some scattered thunderstorm chances for a few of us later this afternoon into the early evening hours, we'll have mostly cloudy skies, below normal temperatures, low to mid 80s, and then the skies will begin to clear later in the evening and into the overnight hours. We'll have another full look at your forecast, talk about the thunderstorms today and how the weekend is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
See you soon. Well, folks in Joplin yesterday came out to Wildcat Glades Park to search for some tiny wildlife. Naturalists at Wildcat Glades in Joplin took visitors about knee-deep into the waters of Shoal and Silver Creek, and visitors had a chance to learn about the life cycles of snails, worms, and crayfish living in the creeks.
Those little tiny macroinvertebrates, which basically just look like little bugs that live in the rocks and under the leaf litter and logs that exist in the creek. These tiny little invertebrates that are in there may seem insignificant being so small, but they really are a huge indicator of the health of our water.
Joplin Parks and Recreation, the Missouri Department of Conservation, and Wildcat Glades Nature Group teamed up to make the event possible. Well, young basketball players in Galena, Kansas got a lesson on one of the game's most important skills, scoring. Future Hard Basketball hosted this scoring camp for students of all skill levels. Organizers say they want students to understand that developing these skills, like with most things, takes time and practice.
So the preparation is first setting a realistic goal. And in setting that goal, helping them taking steps to get to that goal. So it's not the way I teach it is it's a 1 or 2% growth rate, meaning the work that you put in, you're looking for 1% or 2% of growth in every day that you put forth the effort to do so.
Pure Heart Basketball is based in Galena and hosts regular training camps for students. Special Olympics bowlers in Southeast Kansas aim for a chance to compete at the state level. More than 270 adult bowlers competed in the Southeast Regional Bowling Tournament yesterday at Holiday Lanes in Pittsburgh. It's a chance for athletes with developmental and intellectual disabilities to not only compete, but to come together as a community. And the volunteers have almost as much fun as the athletes.
All I like to tell people is come and try out an event. You'll fall in love. We have a lot of repeat volunteers that just love to interact and kind of build those relationships with the athletes. And it's really cool to see them every year, remember each other from year to year.
The state bowling event will be held August 9th through the 10th in Olathe, Kansas. Fair season in the 4 states makes its latest stop in Fort Scott, Kansas. Yesterday, the Bourbon County Fair featured rabbits, poultry, sheep, and goats, and some season exhibitors had their reasons for attending the fair.
I've been showing animals for a long time, so I just joined whenever I could. My mom signed us up for it.
The fair continues through Saturday. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Walmart is relaunching its No Boundaries, a young adult fashion line aimed at Gen Z shoppers. And rain chances continue. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, AT&T call and text logs were exposed last week following a massive data breach.
A footprint of who you are.
Colin Walke, a cybersecurity partner at Hollis Stills Law Firm, says the recent hack of AT&T call and text logs shows how vulnerable all cell phone users are to their data being exposed.
We have gotten far too lax, and I think maybe this hack might have woken people up.
Walke says you should limit the amount of apps on your phone.
Every single app you download, you should seriously consider not downloading, because every one that you download, you're increasing the threat surface, the number of opportunities that an individual has to hack you.
Other tips include be cautious about what you're texting. Don't have embarrassing or sensitive photos on your phone. Don't store passwords for other accounts on your phone. Make sure the microphone feature is turned off on all apps. And don't allow applications to track your location. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, millions of people with online accounts with the Social Security Administration must soon switch to a login.gov account in order to access their information. The agency says the new system will hopefully help cut down on wait times, and users should have gotten an email prompting the switch. The agency says no formal deadline has been set yet for the switch, though already more than 5 million users have made the transition. SpaceX and ex-owner Elon Musk says he plans to move the two companies' headquarters from California to Texas. Musk claims the move is in response to a new California law that bans school districts from passing policies that would require schools to notify parents if their child asks to change their gender identification, calling it the final straw. Musk previously moved Tesla's headquarters from California to Austin, Texas, though the electric car maker still has a large factory in California. And just in time for back-to-school shopping, this week Walmart is relaunching its No Boundaries young adult fashion line aimed at Gen Z shoppers. Most items in the 130-piece collection are $15 and under, with expanded sizes ranging from extra small to 5X. Al fresco dining loses its appeal when it feels like a sauna outside. One Philadelphia restaurant is trying to help its customers and workers beat the heat. Madeline Wright has the story.
Morgan's Pier at Penn's Landing is situated right on the Delaware River, with beautiful views of the Ben Franklin Bridge. But for the last few days, this restaurant has been emptier than usual.
Being an all-outdoor restaurant, obviously, you know, people are very hesitant to come down on come out to outdoor restaurants because it is so hot.
Restaurant spokesperson Dana Canalicchio says the business is taking a big hit because of the heat wave. But for customers willing to brave the blistering heat, Morgan's Pier is taking steps to keep them safe.
We have fans, we have misters, and then we set up water stations for all the guests so they can hydrate at their own leisure.
And there are plenty of other refreshing drinks to help keep people cool. Employees are also working shorter shifts to minimize exposure to the heat.
Trying to keep staff motivated. That's a little bit of a struggle, you know, because they're also extremely hot and they have to be in the weather.
On a hot day like this, it's tempting to walk into this freezer, but it's meant for food, not people.
Liberty Garden, which is our newest location located next to Liberty Bell, we did close for the day because there's not a lot of shade down there and it's extremely hot.
Canalicchio says the restaurant is doing the best it can with the hope for better weather soon.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've had thunderstorms rolling through the area this morning. Some of those have been strong out there, but no severe weather. We've seen winds gusting upwards of about 50 miles an hour. Still cloudy, still some rain falling in the Joplin area, some rumbles of thunder as well. As our camera on the Cornell complex, our camera at 7th and Range Line, again, some raindrops on there. We're just getting light rain, considerably calmer in Joplin than it was earlier this morning. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, again, just showing wet roads, but the traffic signal is much more stable following those storms this morning. However, still dealing with stronger storms across parts of Barton County, so Lamar, Greenfield, stretching over to Greenfield, Springfield as well. And we've got just heavy rain all through northeastern Oklahoma, south of I-44 Missouri. So Neosho, Manette, Pineville, Cassville, Joplin, Carthage, Mount Vernon, kind of in this little circle here where it's a little lighter on the rainfall, but more heavy rain expected. As some of these storms, once they were lifting north, they ran into this line and the whole system's moving east, so it's kind of starting to push this new line a little more southeasterly across the area. We're seeing some additional development taking place out south of Wichita, but at this point that is moving south. But we could see some additional scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly along the Kansas-Oklahoma border and then stretching east along and south of I-44 as we head a little later into this afternoon and into the early evening hours, so between about 3 and 7. The rest of us, though, starting to see some gradual clearing take place. And temperatures today expected to be below average. In fact, they're going to be below average for the next several days. Take a look now. Pittsburgh, 69 degrees thanks to the rain. Stockton, the warm spot at 78. Most of us low to mid 70s, but we still have a couple of upper 70s here and there. We've got, again, the additional rain chances later today. More storm chances heading into next week and much cooler temperatures hanging on for a while. We'll take a look at all the details here in just a moment. We're also about ready to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break as well. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you. I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, 5-time Olympic gold medal swimmer. There she is. That's Missy Franklin. Will join us. She'll be covering the games in Paris, and then she's going to tell us what she thinks of Team USA's chances. What does Missy think? That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're starting in Pittsburgh with Avery Soderman celebrating birthday number 12. Happy birthday, Avery.
And over in Iola, happy 22nd birthday to Gage Turner. It says, love Grandma and Grandpa.
And in Baxter Springs, Madison Burton celebrating birthday number 23. Happy birthday, Madison.
Over in Arma, happy 35th birthday to Kyle Tedlock.
And in Chinook, Brad Allman celebrating birthday number 48. Happy birthday, Brad.
Happy 66th birthday to Larry Storm over in Jasper.
And in Columbus, Vivian Birch Frost celebrating birthday number 77. Says happy birthday from the CCRHS class of 65.
And a happy birthday to Bonnie Freeman, who's celebrating birthday number 82.
And we've got our very own Melissa Alexis celebrating a birthday today. She's one of our newest reporters. Sorry, heard some of her stories already. So very happy birthday to you, Melissa.
Yes, and last but not least, continuing our birthday list with Jane Martin over in Parsons, celebrating birthday number 83. Happy birthday.
All right. We love celebrating birthdays and anniversaries with all you folks there at home. And if you want to celebrate with us, Elise has that information for you.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include any photos or birthday messages, and to, of course, put the day of your submission when you are submitting your celebration. I couldn't get it today.
That's all right. And it's been one of those days already across the area. But you guys know what to do, and you know when to do it as well. All right, let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. So we do have still the flash flood warnings for Cherokee, Jasper counties, and the northern fringe of Newton County out there. So we got some stronger type storms up across parts of the northern or north of Joplin right now. This activity is starting to move southeast, so we're shifting into southeastern Kansas. Rain letting up a bit out here. We've had some heavy rain across the region, but it is beginning to ease up a bit. Still dealing with fairly heavy rainfall in Lamar and around the Greenfield area. So if you're traveling on 160, I-49, make sure you're ready to slow down. Watch out for flash flooding as well. Even though there aren't any warnings up here, these storms still putting down a heavy amount of rain. Starting to get some more moderate rainfall around the Joplin area and points south, and then back across northeastern Oklahoma. Just thunderstorms. We've got some lightning, we've got some thunder out there, and we've also got some fairly heavy rain falling as well, at least some moderate rainfall across just almost all of our counties here in northeastern Oklahoma. The other thing, reason we've got those flash flood warnings out there is the rainfall we've seen with these storms, upwards of 5 inches. In the warning area here, we got very quickly, this is what a flash flood is, it's from the rain falling very quickly over a short period of time. 2-3 inches of rain around Galena, Joplin, south of Columbus. And you get in northeastern Oklahoma, just over the last 24 hours, we've had almost 5 inches of rain in some locations. And then off to our south and east, one thing I want to point out, take a look at this. This goes off the scale. Upwards of 11 to 16 inches of rain. In fact, they've got a flash flood emergency in Marion County in Arkansas. They're urging people to evacuate, move to higher ground. I said a number of bridges down there have been washed out. Water rescues taking place. So again, they've gotten a lot more rainfall than we have, and they're continuing to see rainfall. Take a look at these storms just redeveloping and training out there. As for us, we had that line lift north through the Joplin, Columbus, Monette, and Neosho area this morning. Brought a lot of lightning, heavy rainfall, very gusty winds, merged with new development that took place further north. And now, since the whole complex is moving east, these storms are starting to turn more east-southeast. And this is where you can see the rain kind of easing up a bit back across southeastern Kansas this morning. And the main system still off to our south and west. And you can see the spin near Oklahoma City, and that could bring us an opportunity for some additional showers and thunderstorms, mainly along Kansas-Oklahoma line and then along and south of Interstate 44, again, roughly between, say, 3 and 7 today. Some additional shower and thunderstorm activity is possible. The rest of us, though, begin to clear out, and we're also going to have some below normal temperatures the next few days. It's still going to be warm, but it's going to be a little on the below average side. All right, clouds, rainfall in Joplin, 71, still breezy. Winds gusting upwards of 28. And again, at the peak of this, they were reaching about 52 miles an hour out there with that rainfall continuing. And of course, across the region, temperatures fairly decent. Pittsburgh, one of the cool spots, 69. Stockton, still the warm spot at 78, but the majority of us in the low to mid 70s as we start our day. Scattered thunderstorms again with this activity continuing through the morning. Maybe a bit of a pause as we head into the afternoon, and then we'll see the opportunity for additional thunderstorm development, at least for some of us, later this afternoon into the early evening. We'll be about 77 by 11 o'clock this morning. We're having another look at your forecast, talk about the weekend and some additional storm chances here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And when we make the transition to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to hear how therapy dogs are being used to help ease the stress of firefighters after fighting a fire.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Independence, Kansas law officers are investigating a shooting incident that put 2 victims in the hospital Monday night. 2 victims had arrived at different nearby hospitals in private vehicles, and law officers say both victims were involved in the same incident and that the situation was aimed at specific individuals. Law enforcement is asking for people in that area to check their security cameras for evidence. A 4-year-old girl was found unconscious in a home swimming pool in Marionville, Missouri Monday night. First responders tried to revive her at the scene, but the girl was later pronounced dead at a hospital in Aurora. Police say there is no indication of wrongdoing and the death appears to be a tragic accident. And Arkansans for limited government are asking the state Supreme Court to reverse a decision by Secretary of State John Thurston. Thurston's office says the group didn't submit the required documents related to the paid signature gatherers it used, but the group says it did. The petition aimed to add a constitutional amendment question to the ballot to prohibit laws banning abortion in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We've got thunderstorms across most of the area this morning, some heavy rain out there as well. Then we'll start to get a break from the rain. It'll be below average, low to mid 80s. And then some of us, especially along south of I-44 and along Kansas-Oklahoma border, could see some additional storm development between 3 and 7. Skies will begin to clear after that through the evening. Mostly clear tonight and cool back into the upper 60s. Below normal temperatures continue for a while, mid 80s out there. We'll see more thunderstorm chances Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, which will also help keep temperatures below normal. We'll get closer to average by the end of next week. Temperatures pushing 90 by next Friday.
Alrighty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making mango lime chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Nate Burleson visited his old team, the Detroit Lions, to talk with rising star receiver Anonra St. Brown about how his family has helped him excel in the game.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll see how a Texas chef is using her skills to serve those in need in her neighborhood.
Plus, Valerie Stone joins us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. Watch out for flash flooding out there. Make sure you turn around, don't drown. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.